did not record, so since I am the only one here, I'm going to start recording now and do that intro over again. Hi, and welcome to Virtual Coffee. I'm Zipporah with Buzzworthy Media. Today we're going to be talking with Sally Kathryn, who is a love and dating coach who empowers single women to find and attract their forever love. She believes that the concept of being successful in business and love is a possibility, even for us entrepreneurs who may not yet be married, and taking that strategic approach to online dating. She says that she takes the emotions out of dating, talking about strategy, planning, goal setting, list making, and visibility tactics. And that stems from her other company, as her other marketing company, which helps startups grow and build their business. So not only is she a love coach, but she's also a business coach, and she kind of applies the same techniques to those, to that online world of dating that you would apply to marketing your business. Her background is in marketing. Her education is in marketing, and her coaching experience comes from being a confidant to all of her friends and family members since she was a small child. She spent 10 years dating online, eventually mastering it and finding her soulmate. She has an ebook called A Guide to Online Dating, which gives men and women her biggest tips and tricks to dating online more successfully. And we'll talk about some of her upcoming projects here in a few minutes as soon as she joins the conversation. Sally, whenever you're ready, you can call in. I see you are here. So just call in when you're ready and we'll get started. Looks like maybe she's having a little bit of difficulty joining the conversation. So rather than it be silent while we're waiting for her to call in, we are going to be talking to her about, okay, here she goes. She's trying to contact me. Let's give her the official link to join in. This is why I love editing these afterwards. Full see if she's able to join us yet. Hi, Arenda. Thanks for joining. We're just waiting for Sally Kathryn to join us here. We're going to be talking about Sally's business, which is online dating. She's a love and relationship expert. So I'm glad you were able to join us. We're just waiting for Sally to join us here. I see she's here in the Blab, but I don't know why she is not able to call in. Gotta love technology, right? Be our friend and can be our worst enemy. Okay, so Sally is back. I see she joined. Let's see if she's able to call in this time. So, okay, I see you here, but just call in on the other seat. Should be unlocked for you. So just to give her introduction again, a love and relationship expert who is also a business consultant. She kind of takes the same strategy that she takes with her business clients to her relationship coaching, which is strategizing, goal setting, list making, visibility tactics, everything like that, to her online dating clients, and kind of takes the emotions out of online dating, which is not something that you typically hear from a love and relationship expert. I still see you here, Sally, but I don't know where you're at. I don't know if let's try the Facebook Messenger and see. Maybe we may be switching to Google Hangouts here in a moment. Arenda, hopefully, I will list the link for the Hangouts if we do have to switch, if Sally is not able to join in the Blab conversation. Sometimes the difficulties arise that way, and we just have to work through them. There we go. Okay.
Ah! I'm here. Hello.
I'm here laughing. There you are. All right. Awesome.
I was thinking, oh no, this is not working. You know what? This is probably the third time that I've tried logging into Blab and it just wouldn't work.
It's finicky with mobile devices. I don't know why, because they don't have the mobile app yet. So,
but even with my laptop, for some reason, I kept trying and I couldn't. And so eventually I logged out of my Twitter and I logged out of everything, and then I went back in, and sure enough, it worked. So thank goodness I'm here. I made it.
All right. Well, that's a good tip to know, is log out of everything else to keep our connection strong, because video does take a lot of bandwidth. So
yes.
So I was giving your introduction, and I was saying that you kind of take a very different approach to love and relationship dating. Now, you do strictly online dating, or you are kind of just in the whole arena of everything? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but when you, what you sent me was you talk about strategy and planning and goal setting and list making, visibility tactics, and apply that to online dating, which I think is so interesting that you kind of take like this marketing perspective to.
Yes, it's definitely unique. That's for sure. I think most other love coaches take a more emotionally kind of based approach, and mine is totally different, but I think it works super well for entrepreneurial women and men, because I do have clients that are men as well. But when you break down the process, and create kind of like a step-by-step process, it takes away the overwhelm, right? Because dating can feel very overwhelming when you look at, the ultimate goal or the ultimate outcome that you want, which is for some people like marriage and kids, it's like, how do I get from here to that? It's so overwhelming.
It is. So yeah, I've dabbled in and out of online dating, usually with the meh results.
Yeah.
Or the complete frustration and saying, forget it, I'll just stay single.
Yeah. Yes, and I think a lot of people do that. But I've pretty much mastered the online dating thing, and that's actually how I met my soulmate, was through Tinder of all places. So I'm proof that it can be done. It actually can be done. But I would say definitely, I do dating coaching in general, but I do have a specific focus and expertise in online dating because I did it for 10 years, and all of my long-term relationships were as a result of online dating. So I've had some pretty good success out of that realm. So yeah, it can be done. I know it's frustrating, but it can be done.
So one of the things that you mentioned, in our pre-consult for the show was that you were the confidant as a kid for everybody around you. So how did that kind of lead into where you're at now?
Well, I just think naturally people kind of, I guess I give off a level of comfortability with people, and I'm not judgmental. Like I don't think there's been any time where I've been like, oh, that's, oh. Yeah, so I have an open mind, and I think people just can kind of sense that. And so they, sometimes they would tell me things that I'd be kind of surprised that they were telling me, because maybe I didn't have that close of a relationship with them, or so I thought, but they were willing to share a lot of personal things. And I've always kept them really to myself. If somebody told me anything in confidence and said, okay, keep it to yourself, I always kept it to myself. So I think just, having somebody to lean on, I was that person for people. And it just kind of, it transitions in your life too, right? Like I think, if you're like that for many people, you just kind of transition into that role over time as well. And coaching just seemed like, again, like a natural kind of transition out of that. So yeah, but I'm fortunate, and I'm happy that people trust me enough to tell me what's going on in their lives. And I'm happy that I can actually serve people and help people achieve what they're looking for, which in this case is love.
And I have to say, we did I did a consult call with you originally, and that's how we kind of met, was through another program that I was doing. You offered the consult to people in there, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And you are like absolutely probably the easiest person I've ever jumped on the phone with, and we just started laughing and having a great phone, and just so very, very easy to talk to. Definitely, I have to agree with that for sure.
Thank you. But so are you, right? And I think many of us coaches tend to be like that, right? We have that type of personality.
Definitely. It helps in that kind of, space where you can be easy to talk to. If I don't know that I know any successful, hard to talk to people.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
So your first business is and we kind of started talking about this, but I want to delve into this a little bit further because it's such an interesting thing to me. Your other business is a marketing company, and you're a business consultant. So how do you what are your kind of, how does that transition to the love and dating coaching?
Well, I think, again, it comes back to I take a more strategic approach just because I'm naturally more rational and strategic. So, and my marketing business is like that, right? So I'm all about helping startup companies to build and grow and launch. So all of these strategies that I use in business, I found could be directly applied to my dating life. And so when I actually did that, that's when I got the phenomenal results. And so I went, holy shit, I'm onto something here. So after like 4 months of searching for, my soulmate, because I was ready, I was going on 33, and I thought, this is the time I want to meet my special person, my special someone. And so I just made this concerted effort. And so I followed this kind of plan that I mapped out for myself, and it just worked brilliantly. And in 4 months, I found him. And so I thought, I could do this with other people. And so I've been doing that. I've been sharing this, and people are getting results. So it's just like, it's kind of funny to approach love in this way, but I really think if you can have success in marketing or in business and just apply it to your dating life, it works. It just works somehow.
That is absolutely awesome, because you do, you read all of the dating books, and it's like, be this and be that and do this and be that. And you literally take this approach, no, this is let's set a goal. What's the goal? How many people do you want to go on dates with this week?
Yes. Yeah. And when you break it down, it's not as scary, right? Because it's not like, okay, this week you can meet the love of your life. And it's like, what? It's scary. It feels scary. But when you break it down, okay, what's your strategy? Who's your ideal, in this case, it's not ideal client, but who's your ideal mate, and who that is, and create an avatar for this person. It's all the same stuff that has to do with business, but just applied to dating. And when you do it in a very strategic way and you map it all out, it's manageable, right? And it doesn't feel so emotional or stressful.
And it's the visibility thing too. And that's what I love about what you you do is the visibility thing. Cause it's like, you know, you go and you put up a profile and then you don't get any responses and you're like, oh, it doesn't work. Or you think there's something wrong with you or your profile, or you don't have the right pictures or whatever, but it's about visibility. It's about getting on there and being visible, just like in business. So
yeah, and it's about trying things that resonate with you too, right? Like there are some people who are going to be naturally just more charismatic and better in person, whereas some others are very shy, maybe a little bit more reserved. And so they're better to be posting something online or try the online dating route, because then they can kind of express themselves in written form a little bit easier. So it's just trying to figure out what resonates and what kind of strategies and tactics work for you personally applied to your dating life. Again, it mirrors marketing for your business, right? Like if you know that webinars and teleseminars are, you know what I mean? You find what works for you and you focus on that. And like you said, visibility is so key. You need to be visible. So whether it's online, whether it's reaching out to people, whether it's in person, you know, approaching people that you meet or see, whether it's attending events, whatever that looks like, you need to put yourself out there. And I think too many people are in hiding. Like they're like, oh, woe is me. I'm so alone. I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. But then they're sitting at home watching Netflix every night. And you're like, dude, you need to get out there. Like you need to actually meet people. Right?
And you kind of have that confidence injection in that, you know, first phone call. Cause I talked to you and I was like, you know, I haven't even flirted in forever. And I find myself now, I'm like, wow, that just kind of just came out very naturally.
But isn't that fun? Because it's like you take the stress away. So when you take the stress away, the process is more enjoyable and you can just be yourself and know that being yourself is enough, and you will find the person that's right for you, and just have fun with it. You know, that's what love is all about anyways. It's about joy. It's about having fun with yourself and with others.
It is. And I have definitely had a lot of fun since then. I actually had, I have a thing for Irish accents. Ooh. And at my one job, there was a guy that came through the line who had an Irish accent. And I just I kept engaging him in conversation for like 5 minutes. I'm sorry. Do you want to go inside now? Cause I just could sit here all night and listen to you.
That's too cute. I love accents too. I don't know any woman who doesn't.
Yeah,
there's just something.
There is, yeah. My weakness is definitely for the Irish accent.
That's cute.
So tell me about you personally. Like, where are you from? Where did you grow up? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh my goodness. Where am I from? That's a hard one to answer. So I was born in, Cornwall, Ontario, which is like a small town right across the border from New York, in Ontario in Canada. And I moved around quite a bit. Like we're talking, at one point it was like 12 times in 7 years. So in grade 1, I think I went to 4 different schools. Grade 2, 2 different schools. So it's just constant moving around. And maybe that had something to do with my personality, just being able to, you know, open myself up a little bit, because I think I was quite shy when I was younger. But when you're moving around that much, you're always the new girl. And if you are going to make friends, you cannot be the quiet one, right? Like you have to be visible. You have to initiate. You have to approach people, right? So I think it kind of framed developed kind of who I became ultimately, which was like more of an outgoing kind of person. And what did I want to be when I was younger? I think it changed. It changed as often as my address did. I don't even know how to answer that. I think at one point I wanted to be a vet, but then I realized I was allergic to animals, so that didn't work out. I think at one point I wanted to be a teacher. Which I guess makes sense that I'm doing the coaching thing now. But ultimately, I think towards the end of my high school career, I found a love and a passion for entrepreneurship and business. And so all of my courses towards the end of high school were just business. And then when I left school, again, I focused more on business. And then in post-sec, I went into marketing, and I just kind of fell in love with marketing in general. And that's kind of what led me to this point in my life. So I'm doing marketing and love coaching and applying some of the same concepts of marketing in love coaching. So it's interesting.
So what was your very first business idea? Was it the marketing company or?
Oh my goodness, my first business idea, probably a lemonade stand. Honestly, since I was a kid, I was always doing something or coming up with ideas, or I was kind of creative, but not in an artistic creative sense, but creative as in coming up with different projects or things to do or ideas. Yeah, I'd say lemonade stand was the first one. And then I think the second one was trying to sell some of my toys to the neighbors' kids because we were leaving and my mom said, we're not dragging all these toys with us to the next address. So you gotta get rid, we gotta pare down here. But a first official when I was an adult, I would say, I think it was marketing. It was a marketing company. Yep, it was marketing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you wish you knew before you started your business?
Oh, there's a shit ton I wish I knew. Let's be real here. I would say being present is a huge one. And like you said, it's being present also means visible, right? And and being clear and focused. Because I think I'm naturally all over the map, just like I was as a child. Like I'm just all over the place. And I have problems focusing on one kind of goal or project. And I still, to some extent, I find joy in working on multiple things because I have multiple interests and loves and passion, marketing being one of them. So I think the biggest lesson has been to focus and to work hard on one single goal, because that's, I think, the only time that you can really build momentum, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I hear you. Shiny object syndrome.
Yes.
Me too. I'm like,
it's
oh,
hard, isn't it?
Yeah. And you come up with like all these ideas that you want to do. And you're like, I got to focus on just getting one done rather than 15 halfway done.
Yeah. And I think I think the shiny object syndrome is such a downfall because it's like, you learn all the methods that work for one particular person. And yet if you talk to somebody else, completely different methods work for the other. So I think too, being able to tap into my true purpose and really figuring out what resonates the most with me, and focus on using those strategies. Because I know if it resonates with me and if it's in alignment, I'm more likely to do it. I'm more likely to have success in it, right? Because if it comes from a place of passion and love and joy, you can't help but be successful, right? So I think with me, it's been a lot of video. And I think a lot of people know me as the love coach, the video girl, because for a long time I was posting like videos every single day practically.
Yes.
And so, I think video was kind of my element, but getting to that point of figuring out, okay, I can choose my own strategies and my own tactics and techniques instead of focusing on what everybody else is doing. Because I think I felt like I was pulled in those directions because it's like, oh no, webinars is the way to go. Oh no, telesummits is the way to go. Oh no, you know what I mean? So I felt forced in those directions, even though I didn't really have the passion to do it. I didn't really want to, and it was like pulling teeth for me. So being able to kind of choose the things that I want to do and make them and kind of leverage them to work for me has been like key, has been a big lesson learned.
And that, again, applies to the dating world. Like, do you want to do something that you're not enjoying just to go out on a date with somebody, or do you want to do things that, you like to do? So,
and that's interesting that you brought that up, because there are some people that I talk to that are completely averse to using online dating. They're just like, there's absolutely no way. Now, usually I convince them otherwise because I know it's a really good platform if you know how to manage it, and if you have help managing it, especially if you're new, having somebody like me to look over your profile and make sure that you're doing all the right things when you're online dating can help tremendously and can change the way that you view online dating. But if somebody's completely averse to it, I'm not going to force them to do it. We're going to find other ways, right, that resonate and that will work for them to find their ideal mate. So it doesn't have to be one or, one all or nothing or one way or nothing, right? We can kind of tailor to whatever works best for that person.
And that's again, business and life. Great ways to strategize.
Exactly. It's like so many parallels, eh?
It is. And the more you think about it, the more you're like, it really does make sense to do it that way. So,
yeah.
So what was your biggest failure in business, and what did you walk away from it learning?
Biggest failure. I would say I started a marketing company called, I can't remember, Two Marketing Gals, I think it was called, with my girlfriend in Toronto. And I think I learned that it's very, very difficult to, first of all, partner with somebody who lives 5 hours away from you, first of all. And secondly, I think the lack of focus again comes into play. That was a huge lesson learned for me, is that I think we were so focused on other things that we didn't dedicate the time that we should have into the company. So being able to be all in, especially when you have a partner who's relying on you, like you both have to be all in, and it can't be like one person 50, the other person 100, or you know what I mean? It's got to be like you're both in it together, all in. So be careful of who you partner with, right? Because even though you might have the same vision, you may not approach it the same way or have the same drive to push it forward or to move it forward. So I'd say that's probably the biggest lesson I learned from that failure.
So what is the best piece of advice that you ever received?
Best piece of advice. One of my friends, Phil, who I admire and I look up to, he told me, and this is his thing. He has a hashtag that he always uses, but he always says, be you. And it's all encompassing, isn't it? It's like, do what resonates with you. You know what I mean? Focus on the things that matter most. Live in your purpose and your passion. Do whatever's aligned. Like it just encompasses all of that in 2 words. Be you. I think that's the best piece of advice that I've ever received, and that I actually fully recognize the importance and the depth of those words. Because it's easy to say, "Oh, be you, be yourself," but there's so many levels to that, right?
Yeah, there is. There really is. Like
yeah.
Which version of you do you want to be? How about just the you?
Exactly. Like there's so many versions, right? And there's so many different areas of your life so yeah, I'd say that's the biggest and best piece of advice that I've received.
I was going to say, I think that's probably one of the best ones, because somebody actually told me, they were like, incorporate your, minimalist living and your want of travel and all that into your business. And that's really when I started seeing success with my own business, when I started, gaining traction and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of amazing to say, like, here was a part of my life that I wasn't comfortable sharing with other people. When I finally just said, F it, this is who I am, love it or not, is when I started attracting a tribe, and when I started attracting people that were interested in what I was doing for business, and not just who, but that kind of thing. But yeah, definitely.
It makes sense. And I've heard so many things too about people who say, like, if you don't have any haters, you're doing something wrong. Right? Because you shouldn't be appealing to the masses. You shouldn't be appealing to everybody. You should be like really appealing to your target market or your ideal client or whoever that is.
And that's the biggest thing I see with startups, is they were like, well, you ask them, it's like, who's your ideal client? Everybody, anybody can do this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not. It's really not. Yeah. And you try and tell them, like, no, you have to appeal to a very specific kind of person. Like, who do you want? Well, everybody should know this. Well, everybody should have to know this, but not everybody's going to want to know this.
And your messaging has to appeal to a certain person. Otherwise, it's not going to appeal to everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I maybe struggled with my business as well, is that I focus most of my messaging now directed towards women, but I attract male clients. And so I had this confusion in my head that somehow I should focus my messaging on men and women, But see, that's really difficult to do because it's completely different, right? Like it's completely different objectives and like completely different, maybe not objectives, but completely different way of doing things or problems that I encounter, right? Like the problems that my male clients encounter are different than the problems that my female clients encounter. So it's like, pick one and go with it. And if you attract other people, great, but focus on the messaging for a specific audience because, you know, everybody, it's not realistic to message for everybody. Otherwise, it's going to be lost in translation. It's just going to be fluff, meaningless.
So more into the personal now, what do you like to do for fun? What's your relaxation?
I love running. I've taken it up this year. It's one of those love-hate relationships that I have with running because I really hate it in the moment, but I feel so great afterwards. And the changes in my body that I've experienced just from not even losing weight, but just my body has changed. Like I can feel a difference and my clothes fit differently. I just feel great. I feel empowered. So I totally enjoy that. And I am, unfortunately, a reality TV junkie. So Bachelorette all the way. I love Bachelorette. And it makes sense, right? It's love. But I'd say that and watching Netflix. I just love chilling with my dog and my boyfriend and just watching Netflix, like How I Met Your Mother and just hanging out. I love that. And reading, of course. I love reading and keeping up to date on everything. So
okay, well that goes right in line with the next two questions. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Probably Pride and Prejudice. And I'm talking the 1992 or 94 version. It's the one with Colin Firth. Okay. It is probably one of the best movies it is the best movie I've ever seen all time. And it's like 6 hours long. It's so long. It literally is so long. It was like a TV movie. So it was, over a few weeks. It was like a couple hours each week kind of thing. And I think it was aired in the UK originally. I think it's a BBC series, but it is freaking phenomenal. And I think I've seen it like 100 times at least, like not even joking. So I love it. The love story is so interesting too. And it's unlike any other sort of traditional love story. So I'm all over it. I'm noticing a love theme here, right?
I'm noticing a love theme here. I was going to say, I started to read the book and I've never watched the movie, but I never finished the book either. So
you have to watch the movie. It's phenomenal. And it sucks you in. I mean, I remember my mom was watching it and it's very it looks like a period piece, right? Like back in the 1800s kind of thing. And I remember my mom was obsessed with this movie and back when it was on VHS. And I remember saying to her, why are you watching this movie? This is like the 5th time you've watched it this week. It's ridiculous. It looks so silly and stupid and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, just sit down and just start watching the first episode with me. So I'm like, oh, whatever. So I was actually planning to go out with my girlfriends because I was in high school at the time. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends tonight. We're going out to a club or something. And I sat there watching the show with her and I was like, oh my God, I just got so caught up in it that my friends came to pick me up and I told them to go without me. I literally sat there for the rest of the night and watched the rest of the movie with my mom. I stayed up until like 3 a.m. or whatever watching this damned movie that I made fun of for so long. But I'm obsessed. It's amazing. Highly recommend.
So what is your favorite book? And this can be pleasure book, business book, anything like that.
I would say my favorite business book of all time is The Prosperous Coach. It is just amazing. It's just amazing. It throws everything that you thought was important out in the garbage. And it's all about, really, because it talk like, who gives a fuck about websites? Who gives a fuck about sales pages and all of that stuff? It's about building relationships, meaningful relationships, and making an impact on people's lives. And that's what it's about. And it really resonated with me. And I've read it multiple times now. I actually bought the Kindle version first so I could read it on my iPad because it was cheaper and I'm cheap like that. So I read it on my iPad and I thought, I need to have a print version of this. So I actually bought a copy that I could highlight and read. And it's literally next to my bed. It's on my nightstand. And occasionally, some nights I'll just open it up and start reading it again. And I just love it. It's an amazing book.
And do you have a favorite quote?
Oh my goodness. Too many.
I'm the same way.
Too many. I'd say the one that comes to mind, and one that I actually I recently did a video on this, was the idea that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I think it resonates with a lot of people. And I use it specifically to talk to my clients too, because I feel like a lot of people usually feel like they have to be in complete shit before they reach out for help, right? Like they feel like, okay, I can do this, I can date on my own, it's fine, it's okay. And I've had conversations with people that say like, they have a call with me and they're like, yeah, I really want to work with you, but like you're kind of expensive, and I'm in my 20s, so I've got time. And I'm like, ooh, it kind of hurts because I had the same mentality and I continued to do the same thing over and over again, expecting for things to be different.
Yeah.
And it didn't change, right? My results never changed. And so it hurts when people are really struggling and they don't actually learn or realize that they have to do something different, right? They have to change the way that they think or the way that they act in order to get the results that they're looking for, or to get different results even. So I'd say that one is like top of mind for me. But there's so many great quotes out there.
Oh, I know. I always wanted to, if I like ever, get a place again, other than moving around, I've always wanted to do like a painted wall where I just like write quotes on the wall, like kind of one of those chalkboard walls where I can just write like whatever comes to mind. I've always wanted to do that. So
that would be so cool. That's such a great idea.
Yeah. Because they have that chalkboard paint now. That you can,
it's
literally
like a
write on
wall
your
of
wall.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Because I am a huge quote person. That actually comes from my mother, who like always passes quotes along to me still to this day. She's done it since I was, a kid. Be like, oh, read this. Here's something that applies.
That's cute. That's awesome.
So, all right. Next question is, who would you love to have dinner with? And they can be alive or not.
My grandma. I miss her. God, I miss that woman. She was like my best buddy, and I think it was because I felt the most understood by her. I'm an only child, so and I lived next to my grandmother when I was in Cornwall, so up until I was like 5-6 years old. And so I developed a pretty close relationship with her, and we were two peas in a pod. We were just like the same person. We both had kind of like, nomadic lifestyles when we were children, and had to adapt really quickly to different, situations and cities and people. And she was an only child too. And we both had fiery tempers. I don't really anymore, but I struggled with that for a long time. But we were both very like, fiery, and I think kind of like we loved being the center of attention. So I think, yeah, I just really love to spend time with her again. That would be like amazing. Just amazing.
So the next set of questions are actually from, I learned them through watching Inside the Actors Studio, which is a show I was obsessed with for a really long time. Still go back and watch old episodes of it. And he got them from a French interviewer named Bernard Pivot. So if you're familiar with Inside the Actors Studio, you'll recognize these questions. If not, just go with the flow.
I don't, but I'll go with the flow.
Okay. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word, probably love. How cliched is that? Love. I can't help it.
It's a good word. It's a good word.
It's life, right? Like life, it should be, love.
It's amazing. I just took a mountain retreat this weekend, and even like the little things. I was with Kaylee Summit. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but we were doing yoga and we were outside, and there was this giant fly. I mean, this was like huge fly, like this big. It was like giant. It kept landing on our mats and kind of being bothersome. And she shooed it a couple times, and then she just kind of sat and went, "Please go away." And it literally flew off. And I was like, that was the most loving way I've ever seen anybody ever get rid of a fly.
That was like talking to the universe, eh? It was like talking to the fly through the universe.
It was amazing because we were all like every time it would go by, like the hands in the air and swatting it away,
so
and it would just keep like, please go away, and it just left us alone for the next hour.
I love that story so much. That is so cool. That was so awesome.
Out of all the amazing things, I'm like, I remember the peaceful asking of the fly to go away.
Yeah. It's so symbolic though, right? Like it's anyways, I think that's a really cool story. I love it.
So what is your least favorite word then?
Probably moist.
So many people don't like that word. I never had a problem with it.
I know. It just sounds really like bleh, bleh.
It is kind of like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it is kind of a gross word.
Yeah. It just the way it sounds like it is like, I don't know. I don't like it.
It does sound like it is.
Right? Moist. Like yeah. Exactly. Like
so what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
What turns me on? So like basically, how do I get inspired?
Yeah.
I would say I'm more of a visual kind of person. And so this is going to sound kind of weird because when I say visual, I don't mean like video resonates with me, but I mean like reading or seeing something inspires me. So typically I would say like reading books or reading blogs or reading content, it triggers me. There's something inside of me. It kind of triggers. So I would say, books, written word inspires me the most, which sounds kind of weird, but yeah, that's, I would say.
No, it doesn't sound weird. I mean, mine's conversation. So it's, it's just the free flow of conversation for me. So
that's a good one. I like that one too. And so, it's true, right? It would inspire you. So yeah, I can. Yeah. Okay. So we had the same kind of thinking a little bit. Eh?
Yeah. Okay. You just like yours written down. I like mine.
Yeah.
Interactive, I guess.
Yeah. That's cool.
What turns you off?
Something that's loud. And when I say loud, I mean like forceful or in your face or like there's people who are loud who resonate with me. Like for instance, Katie Olivia, the fitness and mindset, right? Like she's loud. I consider her loud, but loud in a positive sense of the word. Yeah. But there are other coaches that are just loud and it's on the obnoxious side of loud.
Yeah.
And that is a turnoff for me when I feel like somebody's forcing their message on me, instead of letting me kind of absorb it and maybe understand it on my level or with my own experiences, to allow it to kind of resonate with me. I don't like it when it's force fed to me. So I would say, something that's loud, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. So what is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word? Probably fuck. It gets the job done. You know what I'm saying?
It does. I was just watching that, the Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru last night. I finally sat down and started to watch it. Of course I fell asleep, but, cause that's my problem with Netflix is I turn something on and I'm like 5 minutes later.
You and my boyfriend, same thing. Yeah. Just 5 minutes and gone.
But in the very beginning of that, he was saying it's the language, like because he uses that word a lot too.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's because it interrupts and it makes you pay attention.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like when you hear somebody say that, it does. You're like,
words have impact, right?
Yeah.
And that's an impactful kind of word. And I think it can be misused. I think some people misuse it because they use it too much as like shock value instead of actual impact. And I think that's where it's kind of lost in translation. I think that's why some people are so averse to it. And I think especially the older generations, they look down on it, right? They don't see it as being professional, but I think the newer generations see language for what it is. It's just, it's there to make an impact or to convey an emotion, right? So
yes.
Is it really a bad word? I don't know. we use it in a bad sense, but it's made for impact. So yeah. It's interesting how even Tony Robbins swears, right? It gives us license, right? You can be successful and swear.
And still swear.
Exactly.
What sound or noise do you love?
It's gonna sound weird. I feel like my answers are weird. When my dog does this little this sigh when she's really happy. Like she just goes like she just does this sigh. And if you pet her a little bit and she's really enjoying it, she does this little thing with her tongue and it makes this little laughing noise. My dog just makes me happy. I would say, just hearing her make those little happy noises. I love it.
What sound or noise do you not like? Not weird. Not weird at all.
Okay, what noise don't I like? What noise don't I like? Oh, car alarms.
Oh God, I hate that noise too.
Isn't it annoying? It's so bad. And especially when it goes on for more than 5 minutes. Yes. And at that point, you're like, okay, where is the motherfucker who needs to turn this thing off?
Reason to be going home.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I was staying with my brother, his car would go off when it rained.
No way.
Yeah, it was so annoying.
That would be so annoying. Yeah.
And it wakes me up. It's the only thing. Last night, apparently there was this voracious thunderstorm and I heard nothing of it, but his car alarm would wake me up and I would literally go in the dark and be rooting through his stuff in his room.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. And all the rest of the neighborhood's you woke me up.
And he would be sound asleep. I'd be falling over stuff, tripping on stuff, cursing. And I'd be like, where are your keys? And he'd be like,
I never understood those people who can sleep through everything. I could never.
I can sleep through most things, but car alarms, they wake me up instantaneously. I don't know what it is about. I think it's
it's just irritating, isn't it? It's like nails on a chalkboard. It's just it gets to the heart of you. That's too funny.
So totally not weird. I totally feel you on that.
Okay, good.
So next question is, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh. What I'd like to attempt. You know what? I can't think of anything. And maybe I'm going to take that as a good sign.
Means you're already doing what you like.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take that. But there's nothing off the top of my head that I'm like, oh my God, I'd really that would be. Oh, okay. Wait, no, I lied. To be a dancer, a hip hop dancer, or I think that would be really cool. And I remember I watched a music video, or it wasn't a music video. It was a guy teaching you how to do the moves for popular music videos. But he was so charismatic and he just made it look so easy and fun. And I just feel moving your body and dancing is so real and raw, and I love it. And I wish that I knew how to dance better than I do. So I would say, maybe that would be a cool kind of thing to explore. So I would say dancing.
Awesome. What profession would you not like to do?
Marketing research, because I did it before and I didn't like it. Do not like.
I was going to say I need to do my own interview because my answer for that one is anything that Mike Rowe's done.
Anything that Mike Rowe's done? What kind of shit has he done?
Well, have you ever seen the I forget what Dirty Jobs is the name of his show.
Oh,
Dirty Jobs.
Okay. I misunderstood what you said. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I saw one episode where he was like, he had to work at the sewage plant.
Yeah.
And so he was like wading through. Oh yeah. No.
So that's my answer for that is anything that Mike Rowe has done, I don't want to do.
That's a good one. Yeah. I'll go with that answer too. That works for me too. Yeah.
And then finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What's up, girl? No. No, for real. Yeah, probably just what's up, girl? Welcome. Give me a hug.
I like that answer. I like that a lot.
You did it. I don't know what I did, but you did it.
Well, like the whole like cheer thing going on with the pom-poms and everything.
Like, welcome to the next level. Like I'm sorry, my answers were so bizarre.
No, that's why I do this show, because it's you and who you are, and I love to know who people are on that kind of deep level. So it
These
makes
are
them
fun
so much
questions.
more interesting. Yeah.
I love them.
Well, that is the end of the questions. So I believe we still have one guest here with us right now. Let's see if she has any questions, or did she?
Oh, I think she's gone.
Oh, she's gone. Okay. So I guess there's no questions. I think we talked probably too long, but that's okay.
My world. I could talk all day, honey.
So finally, before we go, just where can people get in touch with you? How and you actually have this really cool upcoming program that I completely forgot to mention. The Kickstart Your Love Life.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So it's a program that basically lays the foundation to begin dating in the right way and to get results. And it's $247. It's a 4-week course, and it's kind of like a group coaching setup. So every week you're going to be working together with your group, and I'll be facilitating that and moderating that and answering any questions you might have. But then there'll be an actual video at the end, a Q&A call, where people can hop on and ask questions and get answers in real time. And I'm also, something that I thought would be fun is every week I want to just pick a name. So somebody has the opportunity to win a one-on-one session with me. So I'll be doing 4 one-on-one sessions, and I'm just going to draw names as we go for people to win those sessions. And it's just really about laying the foundation and doing it right. Because I think a lot of people, when they go into dating, they do it in a haphazard kind of way, right? Like they're just kind of all over the map, have no idea what they're doing. And sometimes they don't even have a list. Like they don't even know who they're interested in attracting or who they want in their lives. So it's starting from that foundational level and then moving up all the way to now, how do you set up dates? Where do you find them? So it moves you through that whole process to finding love, basically.
Awesome. And when does that kick off?
In September, beginning of September, I think on the 5th. Yeah.
Okay. So website, social media, where do they go to find out more about the program and sign up if they'd like to? Sure.
The best place to reach me would be my website, and it is www.sallycathryn.com. And Kathryn is spelled in such a weird way. You can thank my parents for that one. It's spelled Kathryn. So kind of strange, but sallycathryn.com, you can reach out to me. You can see all my social media links below. You can email me. You can set up even a time to chat with me and get a free coaching session, because the first one's always free, because I want to make sure that I resonate with the person and that the person resonates with me, and that, we can have a good working relationship. So yeah.
Awesome. All righty. Well, thank you for
so much
today. This was definitely a fun one. And I will see you online, because I see you all the time.
Yeah. We're friends online.
Yes, we are. And we are in the same group, so I see your posts all the time. I think yours the one like I heart some of the most of, I think. I'm like, I love that.
Thanks, girl. It was awesome being on here. And what unique questions. This is the first time I've been asked, like, what's your favorite word? That's such a random thing. I love it. I love it. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining. And that's it.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. It was nice chatting with you. See you later.
Bye.